Another new business in town, Bighorn Chiropractic, is offering acupuncture sessions which include the initial exam. Balanced Healing Salt and Sauna is offering salt therapy for allergies and other items. The end of summer flash sale, every bid starts at half price. Check it out on SheridanMedia.com.
Cowboy football returns to War Memorial Stadium to host Air Force on Friday, September 16th under the lights. Kickoff is set for 6 p.m. and it's Military Appreciation Day, so be sure to arrive early on game day for all the pregame festivities. Get your tickets today at GoWIO.com or call 307-766-7220. We'll see you at War Memorial Stadium on September 16th as the Cowboys take on the Falcons.
This is Public Pulse, your information and conversation program, brought to you by Eliason Financial. You can voice your opinion by calling 672-KROE. That's 672-5763. Now, your host for Public Pulse, Floyd Whiting.
Good morning and welcome to Public Pulse. I am joined this morning by Sheridan County Commissioners Christy Haswell and Nick Siddle. Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning, Floyd.
Morning, Floyd.
Now, it's beautiful outside. We can't see the sun just yet, but I'm kind of at the point where I don't really need to right now.
No. No.
It's a great day.
It is. It is a great day to get out and get all your chores done before fall sets in. How has your summer been? I'll start over here with you, Commissioner Haswell.
Always too fast.
Yeah.
But hot, right? Like everyone, ready for fall. It was really good. It was jam packed, mostly with the kids' activities, and then of course everything that happens in Sheridan County during the summer.
Oh yeah, and it's great to have a lot of events, but sometimes if you've got to make sure that you're at every one of them. Holy cow!
There's a lot.
There's
you
there's
can't
a lot
make it to all of them.
Yeah, Commissioner Siddle, how was your summer?
It was really hectic. It seemed like Christy said, there was an awful lot going on and dealing with the heat, and then of course I'm on the Wild Rodeo board, so that takes up quite a bit of time in the summer, and it's been a really hectic summer, and I'm really looking forward to a nice, cool fall. I'm big into hunting, so I'm looking forward to a nice hunting season, and I'm looking forward to fall.
Are you rifle or bow?
Yeah, I'm a rifle guy. I'm not stealthy enough to get close enough to shoot one with a bow, I mean, stealth is not necessarily my strongest point.
Yeah, my dad was the same way. Wasn't really big on crouching through. He was more, let's get on the horse. We'll go that way.
I enjoy that myself, yeah.
Now, speaking of summer events, how do you feel the summer events in the county went this year? We had a lot of things that would traditionally kind of set us back. Massive inflation. High fuel prices, the flooding of Yellowstone, everything was stacked against us. How do you feel that the summer events went?
I think they went really well, actually. I think in spite of all of that, which started kind of with COVID, we've done really well with tourism. I think numbers have been up. We saw maybe a little dip in the hotel occupancy, but a tiny blip. But participation up with all the rest of the activities.
Yeah.
Floyd, it's amazing to me. I don't know where everybody gets the money to travel with the cost of fuel and the cost of, but people are still traveling and people are still recreating and their love. Sheridan County is a great place to come to, and I think it is a little more reasonable than the Yellowstone area and those things. And you've got the beauty and so many different activities here in the summer with rodeos and polo and all the different outdoor events that are in Sheridan in the summer, that it's just a great place to kind of headquarter and stay a few extra days, I think.
Yeah, I spoke with Sean Parker recently, and he said that him and his office are really geared toward not just bringing people here, but stay here for 2-3 days.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's where, our business owners really make the money, because someone's going to walk around for 2 or 3 days. They're going to want to remember this experience. They're going to want a keychain. They're going to want maybe a new jacket. Things like that. Mm-hmm. So spending for 2 or 3 days is a lot better than just having those who are passing on through, making Sheridan a destination location.
That's right. And especially that really helps the restaurants and the breweries and the bars, and people stay in town and they spend money.
Now, I often speak with the team over at Sheridan Community Land Trust, Sheridan County's commissioners have recently approved and accepted an agreement with Wagner Ranch Services to build the Aspen parking lot on the Red Grade Trail system. Now, before I get too far into the money, the Red Grade Trail system, even just our trail system alone, big attractor. Speaking of becoming a destination location.
Yes, yeah, the ones on Red Grade and then the ones in town as well.
Yeah, and maybe it's just, the idea that I grew up kind of in an environment a lot like this. But I got to step out of that and remember there are people out there who, living in a city, to see a grove of trees is an oddity. And so to be able to come to Sheridan, get out on these trails, and as Chris Verba said, you could be out and alone within 5-10 minutes.
Oh yeah, and there's some parts of that trail that are pretty challenging where you can do some pretty serious climbing and working, and then if you prefer, you can go kind of to the upper end, and it's a little flatter across the top there. And I mean, there's some trails up there for everyone, and it's now that we'll get it completed here very soon, it's a big trail system.
Well, and I think the fact that you can get mountain bikes on it, there are parts where you can have horses on it. It just broadens the users.
Yeah, it really does. If you're not a walker, you're a rider of anything. Those trails are there for you as well. This is all going to be paid with the parking lot's going to be paid for using grant money, correct?
So part of this was a loan through the state, and the land trust wasn't able to submit the application on their own. So the county, who could be a sponsor of the application, applied for it on their behalf. And part of it was to finish the trail system and then finish these additional parking lots that they've added up on top. And then the land trust has met that with, all the fundraising that they do and some grants. So it's a mix.
And they are really great about going out and seeking funding to get these kinds of things done for the community.
You bet. And it's out there, this outdoor recreation thing is certainly huge in our area and huge in the United States. And there's money out there for the outdoor recreation and the great outdoors, and especially when you're also talking about public land and those kind of things, it really increases your opportunities for that money.
And they're free. Right?
Yeah.
I think that's huge for folks to be able to go out and enjoy those trails and not have to pay for it.
Not even like a trail fee.
No.
You can just jump out of the car and there you are.
And I know in speaking with some of the users, that's a big deal for their families as we talk about inflation and the increasing cost of things.
It's amazing. You can be sitting at home, and my wife does this to me. Let's go for a walk. And I drag my feet until we get out there. And 2 minutes in, this was the greatest idea you've had, babe. I'm that guy. I'll stay inside, but if you put a leash on me, take me for a walk, I'll enjoy it every step of the way.
Well, and there's so many different places where you can do that in Sheridan.
Yeah.
You can do it on the city pathways. You can go on the Soldier Ridge Trail. You can go to Red Grade. I mean, the opportunities are endless in our area.
And the water trails.
Yeah, the sound of water. That's something we had some family visit, and that was one thing that my mother-in-law wanted to hear. She wanted to hear the creek. And to me, I'm like, well, yeah, sure, that's no big deal. But to her, she comes from a metropolitan area. That's a big deal to her, to go out and actually hear the silence combined with just the sound of running water.
Yeah.
It's amazing what some of these folks really desire when they get here, and I think it's great that we can supply all of that, as you said, Commissioner, for free.
Brad Bauer and his team have done a really nice job with those, and the county was happy to team and be able to help out where we could.
Now, who's the individual that writes the majority of your grants up there at the county? Is that Renee Obermuller?
It is, yep.
That's a gift to be able to write for grants.
And the grant administration is a big part of her work. It's a big chunk of her responsibility, and it continues to grow, it seems like.
When it comes to writing grants, somebody once told me if you know how to write a good grant proposal, then you could find a job just about anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and the other big part of the grant writing thing is just finding the right grants. And they're out there if you've got somebody who has the time and energy and knows where to look.
Yeah.
That's the issue is you have to find the grant before you can apply for it, and there's probably a grant for whatever you want to do if you know where to look and how to find it.
Yeah, especially nowadays. We've got a lot of ARPA funds out there, and yes, those things come with a lot of rules. But if the money's there, and we can benefit from it as a community, I say go for it.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion. Now, let's move on to a test that was conducted on Tuesday by Emergency Management. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, so the FCC and Homeland Security had reached out to emergency management directors around the state and nationally, but within the state to do this test to make sure that in an emergency, we had an ability and a way to talk to folks on their cell phones to get messages out there, whether it was a natural disaster or, whatever. I'm trying to think of all the situations.
Yeah, whatever happens. We went through some scenarios even of things that could happen.
Yeah.
So everybody had an ability to fill out a survey after they got that test. If you were in a certain mile radius, you got it within town. We don't have those results yet, but those will be shared to see how successful it was once we get those back from the FCC.
And I spoke with the emergency management coordinator for Sheridan County, Jesse Ludikaus, and him and I spoke about this, and I really hope that a lot of individuals decided to go ahead and take that survey, because that's the feedback that we need. I do realize that there's a lot of private organizations and individuals looking for surveys, and they can get a little overbearing sometimes. But when it comes to helping out your local government, especially in a situation like this, taking that survey is very vital, isn't it?
Absolutely, because we can't get the information if people aren't willing to give it to us to know exactly what's going on. It was really interesting in our office to me, and obviously there's 3 or 4 different cell phone providers, and the 2 ladies out in our front office both got the call, and I hadn't gotten it yet. And I was kind of wondering about it. And then about 1 minute later, I got it. And so I think it kind of depended on who your provider is.
Oh, wow.
On if there was a little bit of lag time in you getting the information. I mean, I certainly got it, but I was about a whole minute behind those 2. It was different.
And there are situations that do exist where a minute could make all the difference.
Yeah.
It could.
It could. I know that doesn't seem like a lot of time, but when an emergency happens, it happens now.
Yeah.
That's right.
And the more information you have, the better off you are. Now, we're also taking a look at the emergency operations plan. What is the process? First, let's talk about what an emergency operations plan is.
So this plan that Jesse's kind of spearheaded since he joined us, it looks at basically flow charts for a process for responding to an emergency and communications plan for a variety of different kinds of emergencies. So this is coordination with everybody in the county. Jesse started with some public meetings. He's going to different departments within the county and the city to make sure that we're prepared for, a volcano eruption or terrorist activity, whatever that might be.
Yeah.
Train derailment, different things. And he's really working with different groups in the community as well. Like, for example, we have one now. I'm the liaison to the fair board, and so we have one for the fairgrounds for what happens if there's an emergency at the fairgrounds, a hoof and mouth outbreak or what, anything like that. And it was interesting that he started out, he came to the Wild Rodeo and said, "What's your emergency management plan?" And it's like, you tell us.
Yeah, exactly.
Or even having capacity at the fairgrounds for livestock if we were to have a flood.
Right.
Yes.
Inventory of stalls.
Where are we
space,
going to put our
all of
animals?
that.
That's an interesting thought.
And so a whole different gamuts of things. And so we've been, the fairgrounds and the rodeo and everyone else has been working with him because it's just, certainly you can never be over prepared.
Exactly.
Yeah.
As the Sheridan County Commissioners, basically our local leaders in the county, It would be nice if when something happens, you have A, B, or C to choose from in the way that we can handle a situation like this. And that's basically what this is. This is our contingency plan. What do we do? And Commissioner Haswell, you brought up a great point. What do we do with our livestock?
Yeah.
And for a lot of individuals out there, that's livelihood. That's my whole life. That's everything that I have.
Yeah.
That's everything my family has.
Mm-hmm.
And so knowing where I can put them during that type of situation, having that information on hand, if you walk out and you do experience a flood or, God forbid, a landslide or something like that, vital stuff.
Yeah.
Now, what is the process of completing something this large? Because this seems huge, just huge.
So we do have a consultant that was awarded the bid to help write the plan. We had a plan, but it needed updating, and really we needed to start from scratch. It was pretty old. So anyway, we have a consultant helping us. Like I said, we had the public outreach meetings so that the public could give input on risks that they would perhaps see or concerns they might have. He's in the process of having follow-up meetings now, like I said, with city and county departments. And then he's hoping to have the plan ready in December for adoption by the commissioners.
Wow. And when did he start this? June, was it?
Well, it was actually, he started it before that, but the real process probably did start in June. And, also the other thing is that there's a good organization of those county emergency management coordinators that also help each other and work together. We're very strongly involved with helping and working with Johnson County, Campbell County, the ones in our region, because usually a disaster isn't just one county's problem.
Yeah.
It's usually a regional problem. And so you need to work with the other counties in your region and figure out what you would do and what your resources are across the board, because these natural disasters don't understand county lines.
Yeah, they're horrible about that, aren't they?
Yeah,
they're
right.
terrible, and their timing is always just the worst.
That's right.
So what is left to do so far?
I'd have to check with Jesse. I'm not sure what % complete we are. Just know that he's working on it, and it should be done and completed in December.
So sometime around December, you guys will sit down. You'll probably review this whole thing, and every department head in county and city and other counties will kind of all be on the same page should anything occur. All right.
And then it'll be made available on our website for anybody to go in and look at and see what would happen in terms of what we can do.
Transparency and having the information. Two things that I absolutely love. All right, when we return, we're going to continue with our Sheridan County Commissioners. This is Public Pulse on 930 KROE and 103.9 FM. Sheridan.
At Eliason Financial, money management isn't just about dollars and cents. It's about dreams and opportunities, and more importantly, family. We'll take time to get to know you. Then we'll develop a unique wealth management plan that works hard, just like you. To learn more about who we are and what our wealth management advisors can do for you, visit Eliason Financial online or call 307-672-3010. Securities offered through Royal Alliance Associates, Inc., member FINRA, SIPC.
The Sheridan Farmers Market is back for another great season on Grinnell Plaza with local produce, meat, eggs, coffee, baked goods, and outstanding locally handcrafted items. Every Thursday, 5 to 7 p.m., you can find the best our hardworking local producers have to offer. Special thanks to our season sponsor, First Federal Bank and Trust. See you Thursday on Grinnell Plaza at the Sheridan Farmers Market. And remember, please leave your pets at home.
From Broadway to the YO Theater screen, it's the fabulously sassy musical Kinky Boots. Thursday, September 22nd at 6 p.m. This award-winning musical celebrates a joyous story of Brit Grit to high-heeled hit. And it takes you from the factory floor in Northampton to the glamorous catwalks of Milan with songs by Grammy and Tony-winning pop icon Cyndi Lauper. Tickets for Kinky Boots can be purchased now at the YO Theater box office or online at yotheater.com.
Here's your opportunity to fill your home with stressless furniture with the flyer in this week's Country Bounty. Buy stressless recliners, sofas, or office chairs and get up to $1,500 credit towards your purchase. Or save $400 on stressless signature base recliners. Stop by our newly expanded stressless showroom and discover why this amazing Norwegian furniture is timeless, extremely well made, and the most comfortable furniture investment you can make. Carol's Furniture in the heart of downtown Sheridan.
Okay, let this sink in. Pioneers crossed the vast wilderness in covered wagons, and today a lot of their offspring actually set alarms to remind them to drink water. If you're needing water, all you have to do is call 307 Wildcat Well Service, a local company that specializes in locating water, drilling and pumps, even solar-powered water wells. For water wells and all that goes with them, look for 307 Wildcat Well Service in the Country Bounty, and you too will have cool, clean water. Water.
This week on the Weekend Sports Wrap podcast, it's a football-filled episode. We talk about college football, including the biggest upsets of the day, Notre Dame and Texas A&M. Then we talk about every single NFL game from Sunday, from the Dallas Cowboys looking terrible to the Bills looking like possible title favorites. So tune into the Weekend Sports Wrap podcast over on SheridanMedia.com or wherever you get your podcasts.
Good morning and welcome back to Public Pulse, brought to you by Eliason Financial. I'm Floyd Whiting, and this morning I'm speaking with Sheridan County Commissioners Christy Haswell and Nick Siddle. Now, according to the 2020 U.S. Census, Sheridan County is the fourth fastest growing county in the Cowboy State, with an increase of 6.2% from 2010 to 2020. The county population now stands at 31,017. But we have to keep in mind, these figures are from last year. Commissioners, how do we track growth here within our county?
Well, obviously one of the things that we can track is growth in terms of building permits, how much building is going on in the county, and we've been fairly consistent in the last several years. Right now, our 2022 permits are at 243. We had 249 at this time last year, so we're kind of keeping on track about the same time. And one of the things that we certainly track a lot is through our clerk's office and our treasurer's office, the amount of vehicle license plates that are purchased, the amount of property deeds that move, and so on and so forth. And so we can really track it that way by the percent that we're going up there. And, obviously, by sales tax revenue, different things certainly can tell us what our growth is, aside from just obviously the census.
So go ahead, Matt, please.
Well, just through the state, we also track it through the Economic Analysis Division. They report on that with census information, but then also have kind of state of the county's information that comes out on value increases, oil and gas revenue, coal revenue, all of that.
And you can really track, the oil industry that way just by looking at that information, which I mean that's public information, isn't it?
It is. And you can find all of that on the state's website. But most recently, they had some population information that came out, and Park and Sheridan and Lincoln counties were kind of the top 3 that were greater than 3% population growth.
Wow. So have you received any letters, emails, or calls about slowing down growth within the county? And I bring that up because I did have a listener one time give me a call and say, I'm just over the growth. Now I understand, and I tried to help this individual understand, you don't grow, you die. And so we have to continue growing. But have you received anything like that yourselves?
Oh, absolutely. There's definitely people out there, and at times, it feels like, man, you'd love to just close the gate to the county for a while and let things settle down and let things. But as we know, we've always operated at least we hope we operate in a kind of a free enterprise economy and a free country, and you're free to move around the country as you choose to, and we can't control that entirely. We can certainly through our land use plans and so on, we can kind of help where the growth goes and how we maintain our county. But we can't, if someone wants to move to Sheridan County, we can't close the gate and keep them out.
Yeah, and we encourage moving to the county and opening up a business. That
Right.
benefits everybody. Creates jobs, creates tax revenue for the county and the city. And 6.2 is not a population boom by any means. What are some techniques that we can use to perform controlled growth, which is something that Commissioner Ringley talked about?
I think it's all about thoughtful planning and thinking about where we want to be in 20 years and 50 years. And getting input from the public on that.
Yeah.
We have the comprehensive plan that we just finished last year, 2 years ago now. Gosh, it's flown.
It's right at 2 years ago
Yeah.
now, I think. Yeah.
But we did that with public input. We work with the city when we're planning kind of in that donut area around the community. And we wanted to hear from folks on where do we want to see open space in 20 years? What do we want to keep in agricultural use? Where's development okay?
Yeah. And what type of development
And
here
what type?
or here, areas like that. Now, the city's getting ready to annex some of these little, I don't know what you would call them, areas that have been, I think they call them islands, but essentially they're still under your management or your ordinances. And he said that he would like to grandfather in some stuff to, or maybe even designate like an M2 type of area to not interfere in the lives of these individuals as they're annexed in. How closely do you work with the city when it comes to that kind of annexation?
Oh, we work very closely with the city on that, and we've been trying to come up with a good plan. And one of the real issues there, aside from the obvious law enforcement issues of the difference between the city and county in those areas, is that it's really what has really affected is our voting districts and our precincts. And so that's what's been the real problem with trying to solve these split ballot issues and so on and so forth, and try and get our voting really consistent. And so our county clerk has been working very closely with the cities to try and get this taken care of so that we're very more consistent. We all want our elections to be just right, and the less problems that we can have by having to have split ballots or more than one ballot in an area, the better off we are.
Absolutely. Now, we do have an upcoming hearing on September 20th in just 5 days for proposed amendments to dividing lands. Can you tell me what dividing lands is?
So those are our rules about creating subdivisions or, no matter the size, whether it's 2 lots or 30 lots in a subdivision. And there were just some inconsistencies when, the state changes their rules. We needed to get alignment with those.
It's all got to trickle down, doesn't it?
Yeah. So it's really reflecting statutory changes, aligning with our comprehensive plan, and some of it's just dealing with efficiencies in administration. So
Okay. So like these amendments that are going to be made to this, it's good if the public wants to go in and hear it, but mostly it's going to be affecting developers?
yes, developers and then landowners that are maybe looking at subdividing their land. I can't remember off the top of my head if there were any family exemption changes in those documents. We have not received any comments from the public.
Oh,
on these.
really? Okay.
So they do have a few more days to comment if they'd like to, and that document's on our website with tracked changes in it so they can see exactly what the previous language was and what the new language will be.
Okay, fantastic. So
a lot of this is because of state statutes changing. It's not because of anything we had ever done. We're just trying to get in line with with the state statutes that have changed. And one of the things that's been really good in our county is there's a family exemption now where it used to be that if you were on a ranch, you couldn't just let your kids build a house on the ranch because of property problems. And so now there's some family exemptions that allows that. And it's a good thing, not a bad thing.
So if you wanted the family to stick around or they moved back into the county, needed a place to live, you've got the land, They couldn't build a house there for a long time.
Not the way the subdivision rules were and the way our agricultural land rules were. By our agricultural land rules, see, you would have to get 80 acres. And a lot of these people would like to just have their kids still be able to work on the ranch and have a 2-acre area. And now with the new family exemption, then that's allowed at one time.
Oh, wow. That's fantastic.
And I think subtle changes as well. The state statute for family exemptions required a different process for what we had to look at for that parcel. So we had to clean that up as well.
Yeah.
You know, when people think about county commissioners, would you say that dealing in land matters like this or amendments to standing ordinances or rules is a huge part of this? Did you have to go, when you joined the commission, did you have to sit down with a massive book and just self-educate as much as you could?
You know, there is a little bit of that, but we also lean hard on Mark Reed and his team. They do an amazing job. So it's usually, you know, we'll hand out phone numbers. Like, you know, I don't know the answer to that question, but Mark Reed can definitely answer it for you.
Ah, there you go. Yeah.
Yeah, and Mark's our county planner, and our county engineer does a great job. And I mean, yeah, we spend a lot of time looking at stuff, but also a lot of time visiting with those. It's a lot easier for me to go talk to them about it than look it up in a book.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
I mean, I have a copy of the comprehensive plan on my desk, and I can certainly go through it and look at it, but I can also pick up the phone and call them and have an answer in 2 minutes.
Yeah,
so,
it's great having an expert on hand, isn't it?
Well, and I think that was probably one of the most eye-opening things for me is just, I mean, you understand all the things you touch as a county commissioner, but the depth and breadth, I mean, you just can't be a specialist in emergency management, planning and zoning, all of those things.
Right.
Liquor licenses.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, great example.
That's a tough one.
You want to hit into something. When I ran for county commissioner, I never knew how much time we'd talk about liquor licenses.
Which is pretty amazing, right? Liquor licenses being one of the most contentious issues.
Yeah.
It just kind of takes me by surprise.
Yeah.
All right, when we return, we're going to continue with our Sheridan County Commission. This is Public Pulse on 930 KROE and 103.9 FM. Sheridan.
At Eliason Financial, money management isn't just about dollars and cents. It's about dreams and opportunities, and more importantly, family. We'll take time to get to know you. Then we'll develop a unique wealth management plan that works hard, just like you. To learn more about who we are and what our wealth management advisors can do for you, visit Eliason Financial online or call 307-672-3010. Securities offered through Royal Alliance Associates, Inc., member FINRA, SIPC.
With more than 30 years of providing excellent service to Sheridan area businesses, Parker Mellinger has the knowledge and expertise to help solve your bookkeeping problems, answer questions about IRS notices, and discuss your business concerns. Schedule a review of your financial records today, and we'll find solutions that work best for you. Ask about our exclusive fixed price agreement, 1 annual fee, unlimited phone calls and meetings. Parker Mellinger, 1811 South Sheridan Avenue, Sheridan.
The owners and staff at Kane's Funeral Home would like to thank the families of Sheridan and Johnson counties for choosing Kane's and allowing them to serve you during these hard times. Kane Funeral Home makes it their mission to take the stress and uncertainty out of ceremonial services. They own and operate the only crematory in Sheridan County, so your loved one is always in their care. Kane's Funeral Home. Call 673-5837 or visit them online at canefuneral.com.
Sheridan Orthopedic Associates continues its over 50-year tradition of surgical excellence in Northeast Wyoming and Southern Montana with the addition of Dr. Jory Wasserberger, a Wyoming native, and fellowship trained at the Mayo Clinic in Orthopedic Sports Medicine. Dr. Wasserberger joins a team of highly rated surgeons providing spine, sports, hand, hip, knee, and shoulder surgery, joint replacement, and more, including emergency care 24/7, 365 days a year. Visit us at SheridanOrtho.com to learn more.
Do you love what you do? Well, I do. Hi, this is Jill Bates with Best Real Estate. I have the pleasure of working with many amazing people every day, assisting them with the next chapter, whether buying or selling. Real estate is not just looking at pretty homes. There are lots of hoops, steps, and challenges to overcome, and people to coordinate to achieve a successful closing. We don't expect you to know what to do. You don't do this every day like we do. Let me and my outstanding and caring team at Best Real Estate be your guide and make the start of your next chapter a success. Give us a call today, 675-BEST. As always, make it a great day.
Brokered by EXP. This is Dan Marshall with Captain Clean. While dirty ductwork and carpet doesn't necessarily mean unhealthy air in your home, school, or workplace, they may be contributing to larger health issues or harboring contaminants that could cause serious problems for people with respiratory health conditions, autoimmune disorders, or environmental allergies. Call Captain Clean today for your free HVAC and free carpet cleaning estimate. It's 100% free. Captain Clean, 672-0726. Affordable choices for healthy living.
Good morning and welcome back to Public Pulse, brought to you by our friends out there at Eliason Financial. This morning I am speaking with Sheridan County Commissioners Christy Haswell and Nick Siddle. Now, there's been a lot of projects going on around Sheridan. Commissioners, how much more does Road and Bridge have planned for the summer season? The leaves are about to fall, and I think that's about when they decide we're done with streets, isn't it?
You know, I'll tell you, we've been anxiously awaiting some moisture so that we can get into those county roads and work on them. People call them their roads are rough, and we know they're rough, and we know they're dusty, and we can't get into the surface of those roads and smooth them up until we have some moisture. We did get on a few of the roads last week when we had that 2 inches of rain, and we got some of them done. But so we'll continue until we get them froze down to where we can't work the roads, working on roads when we get some moisture this fall. And we're still repairing and replacing some culverts and cleaning cattle guards and doing all that kind of maintenance just around the county. And then when we can't do roads, then we'll probably start trimming trees along the roads.
Yeah.
There's always something to do.
There's always something
to do, yeah.
Now, what is the concern with Wolf Creek Road near Connor Battlefield, which is a really cool name, by the way?
Yeah.
Right?
So we had some erosion issues when we had some flooding probably 2 or 3 years ago now. And so we had designed some stabilization techniques and tools. But when we opened bid, both of the bids were just too high. So we've had to go back to the drawing board and do some redesign. So we're hoping to be able to get that back out to bid, in October.
And this is a joint project between the county and the town of Ranchester. It's right where the river comes in, right next to the street in Ranchester there by Connor Battlefield, and trying to get that road redone and taken care of, and then moving on out to the south on Wolf Creek Road. So it's a joint project with the town of Ranchester.
Now, are they going to share in the cost of this as well?
Yes.
And you know, those little outlying towns that we have around here, they don't have, you know, humongous coffers that they can draw from. So I would imagine that there is definitely a cap on this project. Would you say that this project is so detailed, though? I mean, something like trying to create I don't know what you would call it, something to hold back the flooding and to prevent the road from washing out. Is that just like an expensive process anyway that you know of?
Yes. I mean, anytime you're going to be doing the engineering design and then, you know, moving dirt for that large of a stretch around that bend. But it's also knowing that you're going to get flooding, but you want to be able to control how it flows.
Yeah.
That's part of the process as well, because we can't keep the river in the bed. It's going to, it's going to flood
happen.
again.
Yeah.
But,
and that's one of the hardest things to try and control, isn't it? Water.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, and we need to protect the road there, and we need to protect the town, and we got to do the best that we can. And there's only, obviously, then you have to deal with the wildlife. You have to deal with all the nature stuff, and you can't just go in and work on a river without without going through a lot of permits and a lot of projects. And so, this has been ongoing, and what happened, I believe, in the last couple of years is that obviously we know that fuel costs got a lot higher, cost of materials got a lot higher, and it just way outdid the estimate that we had of what it was going to cost, and we just couldn't afford the bids the last time we opened them. So we've just got to wait and reopen and see where we go.
Has that affected any other projects in the county? The increase in materials, the increase in fuel. Is this the only project that you've had to take a step back from?
recently, yes. We've been fortunate. I think we've understood the inflation that we've needed to add to projects as well. But thankfully, this is the only project we had to say, nope, hit the brakes.
Too dang much.
Let's rebid it, redesign it, see if we can't get more folks being able to bid. You know, that's the other thing, too. Sometimes it's hard to find contractors for this work because everybody's so busy.
That's right, yeah.
So we'll see.
At one point, we had to back off because we couldn't get enough bids to, like we were going to put a new roof on the jail and the sheriff's office, and we just, at the time, couldn't get anyone to do it. You know, and we had to back off on that. And it's all a supply and demand deal right now.
Which is such a large issue. You know, I've spoke with a lot of individuals who are trying to get some building done or trying to get some projects done, and they all say the same thing. This is just, you know, you can't get this essential piece of material. You can't get, who would have thought, you know, just something like COVID, which, yes, was a world pandemic, which, yes, shut down a lot of places, but that the system couldn't recover as fast as we'd hoped it would. It just kind of blew me away at the increases that this has cost everybody. Some people aren't going to work just because they can't get the materials to do the job they need to get done.
That's right.
So it's always tough. And so on that segue, where are we in the Brook Street project?
So the design plan, specs, and the estimate are 90% complete. We did apply for a TAP grant through WYDOT, and so we'll find out in October if we were successful with that grant. But the designs are beautiful. That is going to be such an amazing green space when that's completed.
Yeah.
And just pedestrian friendly. We were able to add some parking spots up on top, which will be really nice. Yeah, looking forward to that project. Fingers crossed we're successful with the grant application.
Now, what if you were to tell me the part about the designs that you like the most, do you have one?
You know, we had some great input from the public. I think the process was one piece that I really appreciated.
Yeah.
I think we did a successful job getting input from the public. But, you know, the types of vegetation, the shrubs, the trees, the flowers, how the space is used. I mean, we made tweaks with recommendations from the public. And it's just, you know, it's just concrete and asphalt right now.
Yeah.
It's going to look so nice.
There's going to be a really nice sitting area up there, you know. Employees can go out there and eat their lunch. People from the community can come and sit out there and have a cup of coffee and enjoy it. And I mean, I could even see if it looks the way it shows in the drawings that, I could see there being weddings and everything else out there.
Yeah.
I mean, there's going to be a beautiful little gazebo area there. And I mean, I think it's going to be a real boon to our community.
And do you think that's something that the commission would entertain, is an individual using that space for like a private party or something?
Yeah, we hadn't talked about that yet.
No,
but I don't.
But it's something that
it could.
And lots of beautiful areas.
It'll be public land. Yeah, I mean, certainly we can work on that.
Getting married, and you don't even have to walk that far to sign the license.
You go to the justice of the peace of the courthouse, we can go out in the gazebo and
just
do
pop
it.
right out.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, that's amazing. Now, what other county projects are out there in the works?
So we also have the Monarch Road Bridge. That was a historic bridge. I'm sure some folks in the community are familiar with it, but it kind of one of the last in the state where there was a bridge for your wagons and your vehicles, but also for coal cars.
Oh, wow.
For the railroad. So we were required to work with WYDOT to come up with a mitigation plan, and want to give a huge shout out to Padlock for working with us to meet the federal regulations for that. But that bridge is going to be pulled out and set on site on Padlock property, so folks can still go out and see it.
Really? You're going to preserve the bridge?
Yep.
That is amazing. That is great news, because it is a historical part of Sheridan. It's history.
And there were probably, 15 folks involved in that between the county, WYDOT, and our Historic Preservation Board. So kudos to everybody for coming up with a plan that we were all happy with.
And it'll sit just right north of where it comes out of the river, and we're going to put a little parking area there, and I'm sure some signage so people can read about it. And it's the only bridge of its kind still out there where there's actually rail bridge on the side of a passenger bridge.
How cool is that?
It's incredible.
Now I want to go out and take a look at this.
It's incredible.
Well, and it'll be added to the Land Trust's Black Diamond tour. So they've got some signage out there already, but they'll be updating that and I believe adding it to their tour. So you can hear all about it.
What was it that Padlock did? They just donated the land that you could set it on?
Yep.
That's really generous of them. That's pretty
incredibly
fantastic.
generous.
Yeah. So thank them I thank you as well. Preserving our history is pretty important to me. How are things out at the airport?
Well, we're...
I only got about 3 minutes left.
Okay, we're on the terminal project. We're working on the new baggage handling system at the terminal and upgrading the terminal, and things are going good at the airport. We're still at 12 flights a week, and it looks like we'll be in the near future, and our passenger numbers are really good.
That's fantastic to hear. Ma'am, real fast, announcements.
We have 2 positions open at the fairgrounds, one for an administrative facilities assistant and another for the fair manager facilities director. So if folks are interested in either one of those, please give the courthouse a call, get online. You can find the applications there.
And we'd like to thank Jamie Ringley, has been the fair manager, fairgrounds director for 10 years, and he's done an incredible job out there at the fairgrounds, and he just has a new opportunity come up and that was too good to pass up, and so he's done a great job for us out there at the fairgrounds, and we're sure going to miss him, but we'll find somebody quality to replace him in our community, I'm sure.
Now, I've got a little bit of time left. What would I do in that position?
You'd oversee the crew at the fairgrounds, manage the fairgrounds, oversee the fairgrounds, and just run the entire fairgrounds property and direct what goes on out there. And
probably a lot of scheduling involved.
A lot of scheduling.
Scheduling, budgeting.
And I can guarantee you that Jamie was also out there running the mowers and the weed eaters and everything else, cleaning horse stalls, and it's a whole operation out there.
Well, that sounds like a pretty good position to take. I mean, you're kind of involved.
It's a nice job.
Activities going all the way around. Real quick, one more time, Commissioner Haswell, where do I find that application?
Just at the Sheridan County website.
All right. Commissioners, I want to thank you for taking some time out of your day, coming in and speaking with us, and keeping us informed on what's happening around our county.
Thank you, Floyd.
Thanks, Floyd.
All right. You've been listening to Public Pulse on 930 KROE and 103.9 FM. Sheridan.
Hey, it's Jimmy Fallon, inviting you to join me on Fox Across America, weekdays at 10 a.m. on AM 930 and 103.9 FM KROE.
At Eliason Financial, money management isn't just about dollars and cents. It's about dreams and